God damn. That's better. Pokemon games. Love them, hate them. Everyone's got their opinion on which ones are the best. And today, I'm going to be slaying out my spiciest, most controversial takes. We're going to be ranking each and every single Pokemon game. So, some of the ones that are on here are like, you have like red, blue, and green in the Japanese versions, which is a little bit overkill because they're almost identical to red and blue. So we're going to ignore those, and I'm also going to ignore Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu because I don't think these count as mainline series Pokemon games, but I also haven't played them. So I'm not going to worry about them, and we're going to be completely ignoring those. But today, my opinion is fact, so if you disagree, obviously something's wrong with you, and it's definitely not possible that two people could like two different flavors of ice cream. So starting off, we're probably already gonna get a little spicy. I told you guys that you were going to disagree with my opinions. I am not here to make friends. I am here to make enemies. Worst games in the Pokemon lineup. F does not mean I would never play this game. So if we were to put red and blue into a different tier list compared against most other games, they would rank way higher. But since we're comparing them to all of the Pokemon games, they are F because they are the worst ones with the least amount of innovation, the least amount of features, and even though Sword and Shield tried to prove it wrong, they have the least amount of Pokemon. Even less than Arceus, which only has like 200. They are objectively and factually, definitely not opinion-based. Alright, Red and Blue, worst Pokemon games in my opinion. Why would I go back to these? Especially when Fire Red and Leaf Green exist. Now, Yellow, I will say, Yellow is decent. Yellow added a few little minor things that make it a bit more playable. They fixed some of the movesets, so like Charizard could learn Fly, which, why couldn't he not learn Fly? He was a flying type. It is in color, which is a big thing for me. The fact that Yellow is in color makes the game feel more vibrant. I think a lot of the advantage of the sprite-based games were that you had games in these cool pixelated colors, and Red and Blue doesn't really have that. So Yellow, in my opinion, is better because of that. And also, Yellow's just more fun to play because you get all three starters and you can have a way more fun team. All right, moving on. Trust me, it's only going to get better from here. Next up, we have Gold and Silver. Now, Gold and Silver, I don't want to be biased. There's a lot of, definitely some things that are left to be desired about the original Gold and Silver and Crystal games. However, they added a lot, and Gold and Silver really was a step up in the series because it fit two regions in one game, which to this day has only ever been done in the Johto remakes. The sprites in Gold and Silver and Crystal are just so good, especially compared to the Gen 1 sprites. The Gen 1 sprites are just terrible. They look ugly. Like, look at Mew. Look at Coughing. Look at that and tell me that it is not as good as Shiny Haunter. Shiny Haunter is so good. I would rank Gold and Silver. I think I would do it about there. I think I would go there, and then I would put Crystal. The main thing that I think, maybe that, I don't know what are the different. Let me look up the differences. Okay. What did Crystal add? The more I think about it, there's not a ton of differences between Crystal and Gold and Silver. Although, in Crystal you could be a girl, which was, very progressive and cool. Letting people have more choices is never a bad thing. I think I'm gonna keep this where this is. I think Crystal is the objective successor to Gold and Silver, just like Yellow is to Red and Blue. Why would you play Red or Blue when you could play Yellow? Now, Ruby and Sapphire. I think Ruby and Sapphire was really good, especially for what it added. It added abilities, changed the way IVs worked, which was huge in terms of like competitive Pokemon. they added a lot of competitive items too. Like that's when you started getting, oh yeah, natures were a thing. The region was really good in Ruby and Sapphire. The only reason I don't rank, okay, I'm gonna put Ruby and Sapphire at a B tier. And the only reason I don't put it higher is because of where I would put Emerald. And when we get to Emerald, you'll see what I mean. So Fire Red and Leaf Green, in terms of like the first remakes, were huge. I mean, I think they are the definitive like pinnacle, not necessarily the best, but the pinnacle of like, this is what a remake should be. This is how you take a game that's old and you make it new and improve upon it. In terms of remakes, Fire Red and Leaf Green are amazing. They take everything that was bad and lacking about Gen 1, like the archaic, glitchy, the bad, like, stat design, like, not having special defense and special, the overpowered types like Psychic and Alakazam, Mewtwo being broken, and it fixes most of it. Now, it's not perfect. It doesn't really solve the issues that Kanto has, but it does solve the issues that Gen 1 has, and for that, A tier. Solid A tier. This one might be a little controversial. This one might stir up some heads. Where am I gonna put Emerald? Who knows? It's been a little tame, you know, saying Gen 1 is bad. It is. It's the worst generation objectively. Alright, I'm just gonna shut up. Emerald is S tier, bro. Emerald is the, like, definition of Gen 3. If you want to play a Gen 3 game, you play Emerald. Fire Red and Leaf Green are really good because they're Kanto remakes. There's a little bit of nicer UI stuff and like graphical elements that Fire Red has over Emerald. But ignoring that, because that's a lot of fluff that doesn't really matter, Emerald is just in so many ways a better game than everything else on this list. Emerald is the best game that we've gotten to so far. Emerald added, it took everything that Ruby and Sapphire was and made it so much better. You have the changes to the desert, the changes to your rival, the battle frontier. The battle frontier is huge. They made it harder. They revamped some of the, like, the gyms and stuff. Everything about Emerald is just better. If you were only to buy one Gen 3 game, like if you wanted a physical copy of Emerald and you could only buy one Gen 3 game, Emerald is easily the best choice. Emerald is so good. Diamond and Pearl. I love Gen 4. I am a Gen 4 fanboy through and through. Diamond was the first video game I probably ever played other than like some Elmo game. That being said, Diamond and Pearl had a lot of issues. And the reason I know that they had a lot of issues is because all of the issues that they had came back up in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Because the problem with those games, which I'm just going to spoil it now, I think those games are F tier. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are worse than Diamond and Pearl.
They add a lot of cool things, but in a lot of ways, they are worse. There's less cool things you can do. Now, the Underground is way cooler, but the problem is that the Underground is not Pokemon. That's not what the game is. I mean, if you like doing the Underground, sure, that's your prerogative. But
when it comes to Diamond and Pearl as games and as the faithful remakes, they're like C tier. Like, I would rather play Crystal. Like, I would rather play all of these games before playing Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl have a lot of flaws, and it really shows when you play them. Platinum. It's a different story. Platinum took basically every single issue that Diamond and Pearl has, except maybe some things that you might not like about the region, which is more of a subjective, like, less concrete, like, oh, the game itself runs super slow. Surfing was really slow. They fixed that in Platinum. The pacing was pretty bad in Diamond and Pearl. You know, like, the pacing is just a lot better. And if you play Renegade Platinum, the ROM hacker Drayano actually added a lot of changes that make the pacing even better in Renegade Platinum than in Platinum. Some huge things that Platinum added was, again, Battle Frontier. A endgame battle system is like the simplest thing, and I don't know why Game Freak refuses to have that. Physical Special Split is the biggest thing about Gen 4. Now, the reason why playthrough experience, whereas Platinum... Enough rambling. Pokemon Platinum is S tier. Pokemon Platinum is my favorite video game of all time, and I will never yield on that opinion. It is S tier through and through. I like it more than Emerald, and I like it more than every other game on this list. Yep, there's my hot take. Gen 4 is better than Gen 1. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. Moving on to Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Heart Gold used to be my favorite game. I have to give Heart Gold and Soul Silver S tier. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the best remakes we have ever gotten, and probably the best remakes we will ever get. They might be the best remakes of video games ever. I would put them above Emerald. I would put them above Emerald. Now, Black and White. There are two distinct groups, and if you think one way, you probably lean more casual, and if you think the other way, you probably lean more hardcore. If you think that Black and White are bad, you are probably a casual. That's just the truth. Because Black and White, like the Unova games, are, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions, the peak of Pokemon. I don't think Black and White 1 are the best. I would say Black and White are solid A tier. A lot of people don't like the fact that they reset it and made it so you couldn't catch all the old Pokemon. Because the whole point of Pokemon as a series has always been, you gotta catch them all. And it's not like Sword and Shield, where they said, no, you can't catch any of them. You can only catch half of them. They said, alright, catch all the new ones, and then we'll give you the old ones back once you're done with that. And to compensate us for that, they gave us 156 new Pokemon. The biggest deck size we've ever gotten. It's insane. Like, Black and White are solid games. There's also a lot of subtle things, like the 3D effects they did were really good in Black and White. The animated sprites are awesome. And I sort of wish nowadays that there was somehow a way to somehow blend like models and also sprites to get animated sprites together, because I think there's certain downsides to models, but also there's certain upsides. So it's sort of this weird trade-off. Now, Black and White 2, I'm gonna put them in S tier, and I'm gonna put them behind Heart Gold and Soul Silver just because this is my personal list. Black and White 2 are the best Pokemon games fundamentally. Oh, that's another thing I should say about Black and White. The story in Black and White is the best Pokemon story we've ever gotten and probably ever will get. It does not get better than Black and White 1. X and Y. Okay, X and Y, like Pokemon games as a playthrough experience, stopped being as good. Because if you look at Black 2 and White 2, that's sort of the best playthrough a game I think you can have. Like, not including, like, Nuzlocke and other, like, rule sets. Like, just playing through the Pokemon game normally, picking up the region and all that. Like, just doing that, Black 2 is, in my opinion, the best experience that most people will have. X and Y, it's not bad. It's just so forgettable. I forgot about everything. I don't remember anything in these games. They're so easy is another thing. Like, the main advantages that I really like about X and Y is the models are good, but Mega Evolutions were cool. They definitely were. I think X and Y, in terms of, like, the playthrough experience, is, like, a C tier. Like, yeah, it's a little bit worse than, like, Diamond and Pearl. They're just forgettable. It's sad. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I don't know what's more controversial, putting Gen 1 at the bottom or putting Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire over original Ruby and Sapphire. Oh boy, I think a lot of people don't like these. I think Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are the best 3DS games that we ever got. Maybe that's not true. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire they're better, okay? I said it. They're about the same difficulty because Ruby and Sapphire is really easy. Like, Emerald's decently hard, but Ruby and Sapphire is really easy, okay? Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is just as easy. They're the same difficulty. It added the Pokenav, which was awesome. It didn't have trainer customization, which was kind of cool in X and Y. The new Mauville City looked really good. A lot of the graphical updates were good. The remake factor was there. The main reason why people didn't like these games, and it is harped on way too much in my opinion, is the fact that there was no Battle Frontier. Now, maybe this is an unfair opinion to have. I think Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire added enough to Ruby and Sapphire that it didn't need to add the Battle Frontier. But it would have been better if they had added the Battle Frontier. You know, I would even put them in A tier. I would put them in A tier, yeah. Alright, Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon are pretty solid, but they're horrible to play through. Unless it's your first time playing through it, replaying these games sucks. The cutscenes are way too long. The game is laggy, like on the 3DS, unless you have like a 3DS XL. It's just kind of Z-moves were dumb. And then Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon comes out, and I didn't really even finish it. I barely finished it. But then I went back and finished it later, like a few years after it came out. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are awesome. Dude, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they fixed so many of the problems that Sun and Moon had. Like, it fixed the pacing. It fixes a lot of the weird stuff, like Vikavolt not being able to evolve with a Thunderstone. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were great. No. I'm, like, really good at video games. I swear, I'm so good at video games. Okay, we're back, chat. Calm down. Why am I recording? Oh, god damn it. Now there's 12 minutes of footage of me just watching TikToks in the bathroom. No! Oh, god damn it. Sword and Shield. Okay, as a playthrough experience, let's just, like, rank this. Let's be fair. They're so bad. They're not good, dude. Think about it this way. The reason why Red and Blue are not fun to play is not because the games were designed poorly. The reason they're bad is because the technology that they were created on is so outdated and archaic and glitchy and buggy that it doesn't create a satisfying gameplay experience, and there's really no reason to play these when you can just play Fire Red and Leaf Green. Sword and Shield was made in 2019 with the most modern technology possible, and it is still the worst Pokemon game to date. Galar sucks. The new Pokemon are okay. The Dex is okay, but the Dex is always good. Like, the worst Dex we've probably gotten was X and Y. And even then, it wasn't even that bad. Like, you still had awesome Pokemon like Aegislash and the starters. Sword and Shield had a mediocre Dex, but then you also have another gimmick that doesn't need to exist with Dynamaxing. Dynamaxing is just a dumb gimmick. Granted, it's better. It is objectively better than Z-moves and Mega Evolutions in terms of balancing and game design, but it's still a gimmick. Doesn't need to be there. And the other thing is the wild area is really boring after the first, like, few times you get to it. Because the first time you get to it, it feels really cool because you're like, oh my god, look at all these Pokemon. And then you go there the next day and it's the same Pokemon. And then you go there the next day and it's still the same Pokemon. And you go there the third day and that Onix that spawns there every time is still there. And it doesn't feel alive. And then there's Dexit. Dexit is the single stupidest decision that Game Freak has ever made. There is no reason why they can't put them in. There's no reason why we should have to pay for them to do that when in Gen 7...
they were already there. And in X and Y, they didn't do that. And there was no... like, when X and Y came out, there wasn't even a whisper of a thought that they weren't going to put all of the new Pokemon in X and Y. Like, and that was a big jump from animated sprites to 3D. Those models were created for the very first time. So, objectively, X and Y was a more rigorous and tough demonstration of their capabilities than Sword and Shield was, and they still cut it in half. The DLC is like, okay, but you're paying for DLC.
Sword and Shield are terrible. But yeah, that's the tier list. I would put Arceus down here because I haven't played Legends Arceus. And I would put Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I'd probably put them, like, below X and Y, maybe. I think I said they were F tier earlier. They're not that bad. Definitely not that good. But that's my hot take. Those are my spicy opinions. Link in the description to the tier list where you can make your own tier list. Comment down below why I'm wrong and your opinion is correct. And yeah, Gen 4, baby.